Hello. Happy Monday. Happy last trading day of September. Didn't September go by fast? At least it did for me. What about you guys? How is everyone doing? I have an announcement in a couple minutes. Wait for some more people to get on in. Good morning, John. Good morning, Sterling. Sterling, thank you for putting in the news today. It's sort of a light morning. Good morning, Patrick. Hey, Patrick, you a Vikings fan? 4-0, beating the Packers. Good morning. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Mark. I did not know this. Thank you for putting that one in there, Sterling. 43% of SB 500 market cap now under FTC DOJ antitrust investigations. Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Google, Tesla, JP Morgan, United Health, Visa, MasterCard, Walmart, Coke, Pepsi, Adobe, etc. I didn't know. Is ETC a stock symbol? I'm just one. I know what you mean there, but I'm just wondering, is ETC actually a stock symbol? Wouldn't that be great? What are you trading, etc.? Hey, ho, hey. It shouldn't be hey ho. Luminaire song. Yep, that's right. Now you got that one going off my head. I know that song very well, Richard. AS, good morning. Charles, hello. Stats for your average cost of home in AZ. Yeah, 433. Yeah, but I mean, there's lots of areas in AZ. Now go to the nice area. I mean, geez. Go to anything halfway decent. If you're gonna buy a house at even 433,000, it not where even most people would want to live, and it's not definitely not in a safe neighborhood. So I mean, your decent home. I'm talking decent homes in a relatively safe neighborhood are in the starting in the 700s. Your wife keeps you updated on the Vikings. She was wearing obligatory purple all day yesterday. So is it your wife that's the Viking fans and not you? Or are you just not a football fan, Patrick? All right, real quick, still having major complications with the doggy, my pretty girl doggy who had surgery. I've been doing night duty all weekend, so I'm operating on zero sleep for at least since last night, and then I got a little sleep during the day yesterday. But my wife's now traveling the rest of the week, except she'll be back Thursday night. So I have day and night duty for doggy. So you might see some of these might be canceled. Some webinars, depending on what's going on, just because she can't really be left alone unattended. Uh, so there might be some canceled. If you're not following me on Twitter, just follow me at MG Arnold. Please, if you could just put that in the room, Sterling, my Twitter handle, and then I'll announce it if it's canceled. Now, there will definitely be one Friday. So, and if I can jump on, they might be shorter. All right. But, depending on what's going on, I got to deal with that. That is a priority. So, just letting everybody know it will only be temporary. And, for hopefully just this week only, but I will definitely be here for non farm payroll Friday. For the first time in decades, more Americans now identify as Republican than Democrat. Interesting. Interesting. So, all right. All right. So let's see. We had Bowman already talking today, but they're pretty much the same remarks as last. So Sterling put that in the chat. Chicago PMI. Remember, anything below 50 is still contraction. Expecting maybe a slight bump, but unless it pops above 50, nothing to report home about. Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index also coming out at 10:30 Eastern, still in contraction. Bill auctions today. And Powell speaking this afternoon. Do not know if it's going to be market related or not. So that's where we sit with that. Tomorrow, we have the ISM manufacturing PMIs, JOLTS job openings. So keep an eye on that, especially JOLTS job openings and job quits, because that can definitely move the market now, especially with the Fed 50 basis point cut, because everybody's paying attention to their focus on the labor market. So do not ignore that tomorrow. You got Dallas Fed Services, you got more Fed speak. Lots of Fed speak this week. Wednesday is Fed speak and crude numbers and mortgage numbers, but nah. Thursday is jobless claims, ISM services PMI, factory orders, and more Fed speak. And then remember, Friday is non-farm payrolls. So non-farm payrolls. Now, this is September. Now, October's numbers are going to be interesting. That's come out at the beginning of November because this hurricane, which, man, that all that flooding in Tennessee and North Carolina, absolutely horrible. Asheville, North Carolina, just devastated. If you have some extra money, if you want to make a donation somewhere, please do to help a lot of people out. But that's really, you're going to see unemployment rate come out, you know, even tick up next month, definitely. But that's going to be weather related. So we're getting ahead of ourselves though. The S&P map, you got, and all the chips pulling back today. Apple is the strongest of the mega caps. That's about the only mega cap that's moving up. Other than that, pretty mixed market. Just refresh this. Technology pulling back. Consumer defensive, so it's definitely a risk off type of day. As the mainstream media would say, a risk off day going into the open. Fed watch now favors back to just a single cut, a 25 basis point cut in November. So down from, it was ticking up at the end of next week, and then we have a double cut in December. Fear and greed, still solidly in greed. PE ratio starting the last day of November, 36.84 in complete nosebleed territory. So, market's definitely not cheap. I think, see, everybody says soft landing, but these markets with a PE priced at that, these are like prepared for, like, we just came out of a some downturn, and companies are going to massively increase earnings. So we shall see. What else do we have? Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Options 22. 30 dead, North Carolina. I have a friend who lives outside Asheville, said it literally looks like bombs went off. I watched some of the coverage, and it was not look good. By the way, again, please subscribe to my Twitter. There might be a couple cancellations this week on webinars dealing with personal stuff. So in terms of earnings, it's very light week going into. Remember, we're also entering the stock buyback blackout period because next quarter earnings are starting. Not this week, of course. This week we have Nike. Nike and then Constellation Brands are the two big ones. So that's where we sit there, just for the point of completeness. All right. So what do we have here? Gonna keep an eye on this. This is turning into a channeling double. It has been confirmed, but not yet triggered on a 4-hour basis. And this is just really channeling. My key resistance level is 57.95 on any bounce move today. Support, I'm looking at around 57.65, and then if we triggered a double, we could continue the pullback. But remember, you're going to get some interesting stuff. Now, it's not quarter end, but it is still month end. Is it quarter end? It is quarter end. Sorry. We have quarter end. It's not just month end, it's quarter end. So we could still get some interesting moves today and tomorrow. So with some portfolio adjustments. Wow, I need some more sleep. So that's where that sits right now. So again, we have a little pullback in the bigger picture. We have daily cycles getting closer to a bottom. Remember, we have not reconnected with the daily rotation zone since we broke above it on September 11th. And the daily rotation zone, the top of it, is sitting at this 57.65 level. That's why I'm paying very close attention to that. On the weekly, we bump back up, and weekly cycles are at the top, but not yet turning over. So we are getting to a top area heading into October, and we're not out of the woods yet with volatility. Remember, at least on a normal year, it's through options expiration. On this year, it might be extended with stuff with the election. So, are you sure it's going to get delivered? Richard, you already received your vote by mail. Hello, Christoph. What else is going on? What else? Your VIX hedges are doing well. That's good. Now remember, your hedges, I'm glad they're doing well. They're not just supposed to make you money. They're supposed to, it's like insurance. And people in past years, because not every year is a down in September or anything, and people are like, well, you threw your money away. You had, no. Sometimes it's very prudent. You have home insurance, you have car insurance. You're hoping to never use it. There are certain times in the market it's better to have on insurance and not need it than not have it on and have really wanted it on. So, don't be afraid of giving up a little upside price action to secure some downside protection. It's not going to pay off every year, but the years it does, you're going to be glad. Again, NASDAQ cycle still heading down on a daily. It's coming into this was not double top, it's just a channeling pattern. The key resistance I'm looking here for this is about 20,275 on any rally. Remember, we did tap out the 87.5 rule last Thursday. So, little bounce, and you can just look at this. It's so funny because this is the breakdown zone right in here. And look where the 37.5 harmonic is, 20,276. So that's the first key level. And then major resistance I'd start watching is 20,328. Very key support. The first level is back down at about 20,075, and then 20,000 are my two key support levels. The Dow, pretty decent reversal bar, but very major support in the Dow is 42,275. A minor support level is coming in about 42,509. On any rally, watch Friday's high. The Russell, very key support level is coming in at 2218. And if it breaks down, you have the roll gap still, and that would be 2208. Remember, roll gaps aren't as strong, but they still do tend to fill. VIX, slightly elevated. Also remember, we're getting market distortions due to the massive Chinese stimulus. So we're getting very short terms. Have you seen the last 9 days in the Chinese market? I mean, it's like to the moon. And it can definitely continue to put some upward pressure on commodities also. So keep that in mind. The DAX, pausing so far. Pay attention to Friday's lows if you're trading the DAX in the short term. 19,400. On a bigger DAX sell off, the next key support is about 19,250. Remember, if the DAX just pauses and marches higher, the next major target is 20,000 to 20,127. The notes, this is an interesting pullback. The only thing I'll watch for really a rally is if we start getting above 114.30 and follow through on a daily close. Easier to see on the yield. The yield so far is just a sideways correction. Had a little blip up this morning, but we're getting cycles heading lower. Now this can still easily pull back, but even 3.7, it's then not a sideways correction, it's then a pullback correction, but that's still not a big pullback. But overall, look, since the Fed cut, it rallied and then sideways correction with cycles rolling over, taking us out of overbought conditions. So the yields are really firming up on the 10-year. 10-2's little pullback here after hitting the second target area on the long-standing monthly double bottom. But I mean, even if it pulls back to 15, nothing to even worry about there from a steepening point of view. Dollar still getting bought down here. Pay attention to this. I'm paying attention to see if this is going to set up for tomorrow for a $1 B buy. Based off end of month, there's been a lot of buying pressure. Now, if we really lose this 99 level on a closing basis, if we really lose it on a closing basis, you'll see a very quick dollar. But they're getting into a divergence down here, waning momentum, and there's been a fair amount of buying pressure in here. So I'll be watching to see if this does set up for a percent B buy tomorrow, and then paying attention to today's high. Crude coming back to potential double bottom territory, but that is about it. I'm paying attention. It popped above yet Friday's high earlier today, but back below it. Going to be watching to see how this closes in relation to Friday's high. Gold, after being on a tear and getting insanely overbought, we got cycles pulling back, but anywhere even back to about 26.20 is just a normal pullback into the rotation zone. It's hit the top of the rotation zone today, so I'm going to be watching for some minor support about this 2650 to 2655 area. What else? What else? Let me see here. Let me see. Yen. Actually watching it to start carving out a potential inverse head and shoulders down here. Inverse downward sloping neckline, well, with the spike up slightly downward sloping neckline on a sloppy inverse head and shoulders, but there's nothing yet on the yen. The spiders topping out at the minor harmonic, little gap open there on Thursday to that level, reconfirmed on Friday. So 574.39 is major on any rally right now, since we are gapping down on any rally. 571.47 to the gap fill, and then I pay attention to Friday's open 573.39. Very key support coming in at 569 for the spiders. For the Qs, major support coming in about 483.50. We're trading 485.69. The gap filled trade would be a 486.75. Other than that, the AQ is also ticking off that 87.5. Tesla should be reporting deliveries. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or Wednesday, but completing the 87.5 rule here. I will be watching for a massive divergence especially if it does trade above July highs. I will be watching for a massive potential divergence setup up here going into with earnings. And now remember, earnings aren't until the middle of October the 16th. But even if they slightly beat on deliveries, they've been with the financing, giving cars away. Nvidia still technically has not invalidated the massive weekly double top. Now, if it keeps extending sideways, it will start getting there in the next couple weeks. But if this rolls over, we still have potential downside risk, but nothing yet. You wanted Baba, which with the stimulus has gone to the moon. No, don't trade that as a double. Don't trade that as a double. There's too many things wrong with it. It's overextended on this side. It's based too long. And is trading into some very key resistance. I would just use, if you're looking for something to the upside in Baba, and looking to something, my next target would be about 123 would be a very key target. If it continues beyond that, I'd be looking roughly about 140, and then 156 would be targets to the upside. At this point, key support's coming back in at 90. Would not trade that as a double, Sterling. Okay, yeah, copper was crazy. Peeking in at copper real quick. Again, if you've tuned in late, just reiterating this, There might be a couple of the morning webinars, or not webinars, daily live streams canceled this week due to personal stuff. Also, my sister's in Florida, getting my mother out of Florida. I'm dealing with that from a logistics point of view also. She's dealing with it from a physical point of view. Have to get her back up to New York City. So there's a lot going on in my life this week with the dogs, with the sick dog, and no sleep. So that's why you might have some things canceled. Sorry about that. Just keep watching. Again, watch my Twitter. I'll announce each day if something's going to be canceled. If you pretty much don't see though by 9:50, or sorry, 8:50 Eastern time, if you don't see the little live stream banner pop up, it's probably not going to happen. All right. Yeah, this was a nice outside key reversal bar so far in copper. So key minor support is 448. All right, with that, I got to just wrap this up going into the open. I can't stick around too long right now. Just keep an eye on any pullback with the tick. Remember, it is quarter end today, so you can still get repositioning, quarterly repositioning. Going to the open 57.75 is very key resistance. You could also see a back and forth type of day today with the month end. Now, if that does break down, if you start breaking down below that 57.75, remember the key level I'm working off, if we start getting into a downward trend day, is about 57.65. Thank you, Royal Palms. Thank you. So I will wrap it up for now. Everyone have a wonderful trading day. Hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. If not, you know something's going on. And I will talk to everyone later. Bye for now.